Hey, what's up, my people? Thanks for coming back. And it's that time. It's Mom's Girl Black Life with your host, your girl, Margarita. And tonight we're going to be talking about this another heinous case, Kyle Rittenhouse. Look, I am really disgusted about this whole verdict, and I have a 3-minute clip that I just want to point some things out to you. And it's funny because before the verdict came out, I already had my show planned for today, and it really didn't change much, because a lot of what I was going to talk about is all in this case. I had planned on talking about moral absolutism, okay? Moral absolutism asserts that there are certain universal moral principles by which all people's actions may be judged, It's a form of deontology. The challenge with moral absolutism, however, is that there will always be strong disagreements about which moral principles are correct and which are incorrect. For example, most people around the world probably accept the idea that we should treat others as we wish to be treated ourselves. But beyond that, people from different countries likely hold varying views about everything from the morality of abortion and capital punishment to nepotism and bribery and murder. So, with that being said, moral absolutism contrasts with moral relativism. These aren't made up words, okay? Which denies that there are absolute moral values. It also differs from moral pluralism. I mean, we're just getting into so much with words here, which argues the tolerance of others' moral principles without concluding that all views are equal and valid. So while moral absolutism declares a universal set of moral values, in reality, moral principles vary greatly among nations, cultures, and religions. With that being said, we're going to listen to parts of Kyle Rittenhouse's statements, and this is going to prove where it's just so disgusting. This guy had time to think up his answers. If you watched him, he spoke very clear. You could tell he was focused. A lot of people are nervous, especially white people that get red. This motherfucker's not even red, and he's on the stand for murder. That's number one right there. Come on, y'all. Why is this guy shows no red whatsoever? I'm sorry. I'm looking at the color. I am. White people get red when they're nervous. And you can't tell me, even if you do believe that you are truly your actions are covered by what you felt as defending yourself. So, you're still going to be scared. You're still going to be scared. So, I'm watching him and oh my goodness. Listen to this, guys. Just listen here.
Everybody that you shot at that night, you intended to kill, correct?
I didn't intend to kill them. I intended to stop the people who were attacking me.
By killing them?
I did what I had to do to stop the person who was attacking me.
Listen, how very wisely he chooses his words. Nobody is going to choose their words so wisely when they're, even when you're telling the truth, sometimes the truth is the harsh reality, but it can still right the wrong necessarily, if you want to play it like that. However, this guy's a good actor, man. Kyle Rittenhouse, you deserve to be in the Oscars this year. Listen again. Not again, but listen further. How he so wisely chooses his wordings. Just
by killing them.
2 of them passed away, but I stopped the threat from attacking me.
By using deadly force.
I used deadly force.
That you knew was going to kill them.
I didn't know if it was going to kill them, but I used deadly force to stop the threat that was attacking me.
He refuses to say, I killed them. I'm killing it. I chose deadly force. I came out there with deadly force. Why did you come out there with deadly force? That's my number one thing. You came out, and so you say, you came out to help. I mean, so you wanted to help medically. I don't know. Could you have thought this out better? If I wanted to help medically, maybe I would put shit, you went through Pinland and all this stuff. Why didn't you plan out just getting a fucking t-shirt that said medic? Emergency help. Hey, I'm right here. So that would leave you, people might look past you and be like, he's Hacksaw Ridge. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. And I'm not laughing. I'm baffled. I really am. In a lot of my stuff, the way I talk, I don't know. It's just the way I am. And that's what it is. What it is. It is what it is. I'm not making no jokes out of anything. It's the way I talk. It's the way I present myself. Listen more, guys. He will not say I chose to kill them, or I attempted to kill them, or yes, I knew that the rifle that I had was going to kill them. I specifically came out there with this type of rifle because I knew it was going to kill someone. You didn't come out with a toy pistol. You didn't come out with a bat, or, even some mace. Mace, guys. He could have came out, if he fully intended not to harm anyone and not to let himself be harmed, he could have used mace. The crowd around him, compared to other crowds, was not so vicious. Kid was on a skateboard. Dude was on a skateboard. Come on. Listen.
You intentionally used deadly force against Joseph Rosenbaum, correct?
Yes.
You intentionally used deadly force against the man who came and tried to kick you in the face,
yes.
Correct? You intentionally...
Yes. I intentionally chose using deadly force for somebody who kicked me in my face. And you know what the other guy did? The other guy hit him with the skateboard in the back because he had that freaking rifle. They were more afraid of him. They were trying to take him out because he's the enemy. And he's got this automatic rifle. Dude hits him with a skateboard. Why are you a 17-year-old child from however miles away coming here for this mess? Come on. You're just like the people who drove from your state all the way to Charlottesville, Virginia, and killed people in the little tiki torch demonstration where they were good people, good kids. Yeah, whatever. Motherfuckers.
Intentionally used deadly force against Anthony Huber, correct?
Yes.
You intentionally used deadly force against Gage Grosskreutz, correct?
Yes.
With regard to Joseph Rosenbaum, you fired 4 shots at him, correct?
Yes.
You intended to kill him, correct?
I didn't intend to kill him. I
Listen.
intended to stop the person who was attacking me and trying to steal my gun.
Okay. I mean, you might be getting a little bit ticked with me stopping this, but I gotta point these things out. I did not try to kill him, but I was defending myself against a guy who was trying to get my gun. I got news for you, son. I didn't see that kid trying to get your gun. I didn't see that person try to get your gun. If anything, they were trying to get your gun away from them, with you maliciously knowing that you were intending to kill someone. So their only mistake was trying to defend themselves against you. Listen to how he chooses his words so wisely. So wisely. And listen to the judge.
Since August 25th, 2020, this is the first time that you have told your story.
Listen.
Sustained. Since August 25th, 2020, you've had the benefit of watching countless videos of your actions that night, correct?
Interesting.
I've seen certain videos, not all of them. I've seen a majority of them actually here during the trial. You've also had the opportunity to read articles. People have written interviews, things like that, about what happened that night, correct? I do my best to avoid what people write on the internet. A majority of it is not true.
Everything on the internet is true. Yeah, so he also seen that commercial, Buongiorno. But yeah, he had held his rights to plead the fifth throughout this entire case. He got to study countlessly the videos. He got to listen methodically to the testimonies. He got so many advantages to get his shit together. And then he came out and wanted to speak for himself because he was prepared. He was prepared and well spoken. You just don't get this prepared. I'm sorry. And the truth in it is, you can say, okay, no, this dude is telling the truth. He's very with it. He knows what he's saying. He's 17 years old. He's 17 years old. He don't know what the fuck he's saying. He was very, very, what is it? When you're acting, very rehearsed. He was very rehearsed and very confident in himself. Very confident in his supremacist self. Simply again. Because he's not red in the face. Even the lawyers are red in the face. The judge is fucking red in the face. And listen to the judge. Listen to the judge, guys. The judge just totally, he totally ran this case. There shouldn't even have been a prosecuting, because if the judge was going to run the show, there was no need for this. Wash your hands of it. Bye bye. Go along. Go shoot the next guy when you become of age to not use that gun that was purchased, because it was not purchased in your name. And when you filled out the application for the rifle, which was therefore after someone else purchases it for you, the authorities to be denied you the right to have that rifle. And you knew you were going to be denied, first of all, because first and foremost, you claimed that you were only 17. But we know that you had already killed somebody by this time at the age of 17. So you were denied because you killed someone. All right. Now, I know in a lot of states, like you said, you were hunting. Mr. Rittenhouse, you did not come out to that state to go hunting. Maybe you should even tell us what you were hunting and what season it was for hunting. Because we all know now that it's open season 356 days of the year, 24/7, to kill a black man, black woman, black child. That's what your hunt was for. But to hunt turkey, to hunt deer, to hunt bear, to hunt moose, to hunt whatever, they all have specific seasons. What season were you hunting in? You know, and there's also a bow season and not a gun season. And in most states, because people do hunt, that children the age of 12 are allowed to have a permit that allows them to carry a hunting rifle. Yes sir, yes ma'am. They do. Because they're hunters. Their families are hunters, gatherers. That's how they live. This kid is not a hunter. Let's go back. Again, now you can listen to how the judge stops this guy from trying to prove his point of how he so meticulously went through every video and every video and every witness and all the statements and everything to get his story together. He had so much time to do this. And again, it's all proven by the redness in his face. Judges red. Both sides of defense and prosecutors are red. People in the not the audience, but people in the courtroom, their faces are red and flustered at some points. Listen.
You have also sat here through 8 days of trial, correct?
Yes.
And you've had the opportunity to watch all of the videos that have been played in this trial?
Yes.
Sir, if you could please let me finish my question before answering. And I will do my best to let you finish your answer before I go on to the next question. Fair?
Yes.
You've also had the opportunity to listen to the testimony of all 30-some witnesses that have testified in this trial so far, correct?
Yes.
And after all of that, now you are telling us your side of the story, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to ask you folks to go in the library for just a second. Please don't talk about the case.
He's commenting on my client's right to remain silent.
No, Your Honor. I am making the point that after hearing everything in the case, now he's tailoring his story to what has already been introduced.
The problem is, this is a grave constitutional violation for you to talk about the defendant's silence. And that is, you're right. You're right on the borderline, and you may be over, but it better stop.
Understood.
This is, I can't think of the case, the initial case on it, but this is not permitted. All right, ask the jury to come in, please. Sustain the objection.
You were armed with an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle that evening, correct?
Yes.
You had it loaded with 30 rounds of full metal jacket ammunition, correct?
Yes.
That weapon with 30 rounds is capable of killing at least 30 people, correct?
Yes.
Did you hear that? Did you hear what specific ammunition he chose? Full metal jackets. Not only is your rifle just powerful enough to kill a person, that you went the extra mile to make sure that that one shot would be dead, would be lethal. Full metal jackets.
You had arranged to have Dominic Black purchase that weapon for you in Ladysmith, Wisconsin in early May of 2020. Is that correct?
Before he answers, listen, this is how I just said about how he planned the purchase of the gun ahead of time. This was all planned out. This was premeditated.
We were up north shooting, and not shooting. We were up north going camping, and Dominic Black brought his rifle, and we were talking. I was like, "Hey, what if we get a rifle for me? I'll give you the money. You can purchase it. It's yours until I'm 18." So I bought the rifle for Dominic, and I can use it. But once I'm 18, we can do a private sale, and we can have it turned over to my name once I turned 18.
Because
He's got a lot of smarts, don't he? He's got a lot of smarts. He's got to answer very articulately to every question. That's because he had time.
knew as a 17-year-old you could not have that gun, correct?
I knew I could not buy that gun.
You knew you could not possess that gun also, correct?
No.
You weren't aware that under Wisconsin law...
I'm going to instruct the jury later about the law. So, and that he wouldn't, what he thinks on the subject is not dispositive anyway, so...
Why is what he thinks on the subject not relevant? What he thinks on the subject is absolutely relevant. Everything he thinks is relevant. This is where he kind of went wrong with telling too much of a truth. And the judge stopped him before he could mess up. Judge is racist.
So, it was unlawful for him to purchase the gun.
It wasn't just unlawful for you to purchase it, it was unlawful for you to bring it home, correct?
In Illinois, I wasn't able to bring it home because I didn't have a FOID card, a firearm owner identification card, in Illinois.
Firearm owner identification card. Man, this kid knows a lot.
You knew in Illinois that you couldn't get that until you turned 18, correct?
No, you can get a FOID card at 16 in Illinois.
But you didn't have one.
I did not.
And even after this gun was purchased for you in May, you never got one after that either, did you?
Actually, I applied for a FOID card in May of 2020, but due to the charges, and there was a backlog in Illinois for the FOID card, but after you filed the charges against me, it was denied because of the charges here in this state.
You found out about that after you were criminally charged in this case?
I found out about this in November of 2020. A letter was sent to my old residence.
So you knew that without that FOID card, the gun could not go back to your residence in Illinois, correct?
Correct.
And you agreed that the gun would be kept at Dominic Black's stepfather's house here in Kenosha, correct?
Because he had a safe, yes.
And you agreed that you wouldn't have access to that gun, correct?
We agreed that the only time I would use the gun is when I was with him and we would go to like the Bristol shooting range or up north to his land.
He had so many things so well thought out. I just can't point it out enough that I feel like I gotta keep coming in here and telling you guys to listen. He's too rehearsed. Way too rehearsed. I'm gonna keep playing.
The only time prior to the night of August 25th, 2020, that you ever used that gun was up in Ladysmith, correct?
Correct.
So you didn't go to the Bristol shooting range ever.
I did. Not with that rifle, but I did.
Pay attention to my question, please. You didn't ever go to the Bristol shooting range with that gun, correct?
Correct.
And you picked out that gun because Dominic had it, correct?
Yeah.
You could have, if you wanted to, chosen from any number of guns that were for sale. Fair enough?
That were at that store. There weren't many, but yes.
I'm sure the store in Ladysmith is
A gun shop doesn't have many options. Fuck out of here.
the only store that sells guns, correct?
Can I ask questions?
That was a question.
No, it was a statement.
Isn't it correct, Mr. Rittenhouse, that there are other places to purchase guns besides that one store in Ladysmith, Wisconsin?
I believe so, but that's where we're at, so that's where we got the gun.
And you, if you wanted to, could have given Dominic Black money to purchase a gun at other locations. Fair?
Didn't cross my mind, but now that you say it, yeah.
Why did you pick or want Dominic Black to buy for you an AR-15 as opposed to a pistol or a shotgun or some other type of rifle?
I cannot legally possess or carry a pistol because I'm not 18 in Wisconsin. I believe it's 18 in Wisconsin for a pistol. But with the rifle, I knew I could possess that rifle. I knew I couldn't buy it, but I knew I could take it to the shooting range or possess it. And with shotguns, they didn't have any shotguns in stock. That was my original plan, to get a shotgun for trap shooting. But
no, you just got caught in a lie. You wanted that gun because Dominic Black had the same gun. Now you're trying to say you wanted a shotgun, but the store was out of them. How in the world is a gun shop out of shotguns, specifically for hunting or, target practice or whatever? So you specifically said about 3 minutes ago that you wanted the same gun as Dominic Black. Now your story changed. I'm listening. I'm paying attention.
There weren't any at that Ladysmith store, and I didn't want to go to Walmart and buy one.
So your understanding at that time was that Wisconsin law prohibited you as a 17-year-old from possessing a pistol, but you could have an AR-15?
Yes.
What was that understanding based on?
The understanding was based on when we would go up north, it was me, Dominic, and my sister, and we were allowed to carry the rifles around, and the officers over there said it was fine.
I'm going to move to strike as hearsay what officers would have told
You
me.
asked a question on what the source of his knowledge was.
That's the judge speaking. This kid just said what someone else had said. So it is hearsay. We don't know it. But the judge allows it? You piece of shit.
It's not admissible, and none of this is, frankly, and that's why I interrupted before. What the defendant believes the law to be, what the district attorney believes the law to be.
The defendant knows a lot about the law. So why are you stepping in? He's got everything meticulously and articulately rehearsed and prepared to say. Why are you stopping him and saying that he does not know at the age of 17? He knows everything else.
What the defense believes the law to be are irrelevant. I will tell you Wisconsin is pertaining to the possession of a firearm by a person under 18, and that'll be the source of your knowledge. I'm allowing the testimony right now because it bears on, there's an old maxim under the law, ignorantia juris non excusat. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Ignorance of the criminal law is not an excuse. If you commit a criminal act, whether you knew it was criminal or not, you're responsible for your conduct, and because you're responsible to know the law. It's not relevant except in this case. There are specific issues about his awareness and knowledge about certain conduct that is relevant on some issues. So it's quite complicated. Hopefully it'll sort out when I instruct you at the end. But that's why I'm allowing the questions and the answers, but do not be confused.
Okay. And at the same time, back on another case that's that was getting ready to have a man sentenced to death hours before his just hours before they were going to kill this man. The governor stops it. But in the midst of this, what they said to this man at 19 years old, now we're going someplace else, but it's relevant. What they said that at 19 years old, he should have known what the consequences of his actions were. But when this happened so many years ago, he's practically spent his life in prison now, and so they changed it to life in prison with no parole, no option of parole. But there is so much that proves that this man is innocent. But yet here, in this case here, they're trying to say he wasn't knowledgeable enough because of his age. Listen to all the knowledge that he just spewed out.
About anything that these people say is not necessarily accurate as to the state of Wisconsin law. Any question about that? Okay, thanks. Go ahead.
So you're telling us that the reason that you wanted Dominic to buy you an AR-15 as opposed to a pistol is the only reason was because you felt you couldn't lawfully possess a pistol?
Correct.
You didn't pick out the AR-15 for any other reason?
I thought it looked cool, but no.
You didn't pick it out because you wanted to go hunting with it, did you?
No.
You didn't pick it out because you were going to use it to protect your house, correct?
Correct.
You picked it out because it looked cool.
I thought it looked cool. Guess that's the reason, yes.
It resembled the types of weapons that are used in first-person shooter video games, correct?
I don't really play first-person shooter video games. I have, but I believe there's a variety of guns, including shotguns, pistols. There's guns in video games that resemble all guns.
Isn't it true when you would hang out with Dominic Black, you played Call of Duty and other first-person shooter video games?
Sometimes.
And those are games in which you use weapons like AR-15s to pretty much shoot anybody who comes at you, correct?
It's a video game where two players are playing together. I don't really understand the meaning of your question, to be honest.
Isn't one of the things people do in these video games try and kill everyone else with your guns?
Yeah, in the video game, it's just a video game. It's not real life.
Now, you introduced yourself as living in Walworth County right resident?
Correct.
You had grown up in Illinois?
Correct.
You had not spent any significant time living here in Wisconsin, correct?
No.
You agree with me that's correct?
No, I've spent time at my father's house and partially live here also, so no, that's not correct.
You indicated you had attended, was it Penn Foster High School?
Yes.
That's an online high school?
Correct.
So you were not attending high school in person?
No.
And at the time that all of the things in this case...
Just go into the Penn Foster thing, let me tell you. I did Penn Foster for a business that I had wanted to start years ago for event planning. And let me tell you what Penn Foster is. Penn Foster is legit. They send you your books and everything, but you test. And when you test, they have no idea who's taking those tests for you. They have no idea whether you're using the book as you're answering these questions. It's so easy to, because the way that their answers are on the back of the book. This kid's not even a high school student. He's a dropout. But yeah, he's so well spoken. He's a high school dropout. Which I'm not saying anything too bad about high school dropouts. I really am not, because I am one of them. Be honest with you. Yeah. I dropped out of high school at the end of the 12th grade year. Because I didn't want to do gym over again in the summertime. So, fuck it. I dropped out, and I actually went illegally in a very strict setting, took my GED, very strict setting. And that test is unbelievable, but as far as Penn Foster's test, it's not anything like it. And the fact that it, I'm just proving something right here as far as dropouts go. I was top 3% in the nation. So, it doesn't mean that everybody who drops out is stupid. They might have their reasons. But this kid's a high school dropout. He's very well spoken, but that's only because he was rehearsed. Let's get back to this.
Were happening from the time the AR-15 was purchased to the night of August 25th. You were 17 years old that entire time, correct?
Correct.
Could we have exhibit number 7 up, please? I have put exhibit number 7 up on the screen. That was a TikTok account that you had during the summer of 2020, correct?
Yes.
And it says your name on there, Kyle?
Yes.
Your username on TikTok was 4 Doors More Whores?
Yes.
Wow.
And that's a picture of you there with your AR-15, correct?
Yes.
And underneath that, you have put on your profile the phrase, bruh, B-R-U-H, I'm just trying, T-R-Y-N-A, be famous. Is that correct?
Yes.
You're the one who wrote that?
Yes.
You testified that at some point you were involved in some sort of EMT cadet program.
I was a firefighter EMT cadet at Antioch Fire Department.
When was that?
Okay, this is where, I was going with this whole show for today, talking about moral absolutism. And so here we're found in this moral absolutism, in the moral relativism, in the deontology, In like everything that I was going to speak about today, moral pluralism, and it's all right here in front of us, okay? And it's being used very wisely and very strategically and very carefully. Moral relativism is the idea that no universal or absolute set of moral principles. There is none. There is no universal or absolute set of moral principles. It's a version of morality that advocates to each her own. Mm-hmm. And those who follow it say, who am I to judge? You know? Okay. Moral relativism can be understood in several ways. Descriptive moral relativism, also known as cultural relativism, says that the moral standards and culturally defined, which is generally true, indeed, there may be few values that seem, nearly universal, such as honesty and respect, but many differences appear across cultures when people evaluate moral standards around the world. Okay, meta-ethical moral relativism states that there are no objective grounds for preferring the moral values of one culture over another. Society makes the moral choices based on their unique beliefs, customs, and practices, and in fact, people tend to believe that the right moral values are the values that exist in their own culture. So with that being said, it's not true, but this is where they're going with this, is that they're switching it up on us, and they're making us believe, or trying to make us believe in some sort of way, that this is okay because he felt threatened. I believe if I felt threatened enough that I had to think ahead of time to purchase an AR-15 or any sort of weapon, and go out to a place where they're rioting, I think that I would rather stay home if I was that worried. Wouldn't you? I mean, I've been to these rallies and these peaceful demonstrations and all kinds of different demonstrations over the course of time, and never once did I think to bring a gun with me. I always thought that, if it's meant for me to die for my cause, then that's just simply what's going to happen. So why this kid is saying that he was out there to treat hurt people, what hurt people was he planning to treat? Only the white side, or the black side, or everyone? Why didn't he think ahead of time and just get a shirt that says, hey, I'm medic? I'm off limits. I'm not a part of the rioting. I'm here to help you guys, everyone. It's just crazy. It really is. normative moral relativism is the idea that all societies should accept each other's differing moral values. So we're supposed to accept everybody's different moral values, given the here and now universal moral principles. Most philosophers disagree, however. For example, just because bribery is okay in some cultures doesn't mean that other cultures cannot rightfully condemn it. Because murdering a black man is okay in a white supremacist nation doesn't mean that it's okay to the black families that are getting their children, their fathers, their mothers, their aunts, nieces, cousins killed. This is murder. We're talking about murder here. You cannot base the white supremacist culture of killing off our black people as a difference in culture. It don't work like that. Moral relativism is on the opposite end on the continuum for moral absolutism, which says that there is always one right answer to any ethical question. Indeed, those who adhere to moral relativism would say, when in Rome, do as the Roman do. Okay, so when in America, you can be a murderer. Only to black people. Only to black people. You know, there's a lot of there's just it's so everything is very conflicting. Like, this is all about morals. This is all about morals and how they differ. And it's not how they differ. It's more of a catch-22. How it works for them, but it don't work for us. Moral pluralism is the idea that there can be conflicting moral views that are very worthy of respect. Moral pluralists tend to be open-minded when faced with competing viewpoints. They analyze issues from several moral points of view before deciding and taking action. Okay? So, in this case, this man has the opportunity to go out in the midst of a riot and take out people who he thinks is trying to kill him. But in doing this, the simple fact that he came out there and knowingly that it is very very possible that he could die. But he chose to come out and help. Okay? That's his words. He chose to come out and help. So, a moral pluralist would conclude that there is no definite way to decide which is the better course of a moral action. Indeed, moral pluralism declares that it is sometimes difficult to choose between competing values. So moral pluralism occupies a sensible middle ground between there is only one right answer, as moral absolutism says there is no wrong answer. And moral relativism claims, moral relativism is the idea that there is no universal or absolute set of moral principles. It's a version of morality that advocates to each our own. Again, we're going back to that. And those who follow it says, who am I to be judged? And this is what this kid is saying. Who am I to be judged? Because this is moral relativism in his eyes, but it's not. This is something that he's just floating on the coattails of. And then I'm just so sick, and I'm gonna go into like, maybe it's me because I'm a Sagittarius. I'm so philosophical, and that's where I came up with trying to educate the differences between all these different moral standards or standings, and to know that moral philosophy is the branch of philosophy that contemplates what is right and wrong. It explores the nature of morality and examines how people should live their lives in relation to others. Moral philosophy has three branches. One branch, meta-ethics, investigates big picture questions such as what is morality? What is justice? Is there truth? And how can I justify my belief is better than conflicting belief held by others? Another branch of moral philosophy is normative ethics. It answers the questions of what we ought to do. Normative ethics focus on providing a framework for deciding what is right and what is wrong. Three common frameworks are deontology, utilitarianism, and virtue ethics. The last branch is applied ethics, is address specifically practical issues of moral importance such as war, capital punishment. Apply the ethics also to tactical, specific moral challenges that people face daily. We face daily the fact that we could be pulled over and killed at any given moment that we walk outside our doors in a car, or we could be walking down the street, or we can be jogging. As far as Ahmaud Arbery, out for a jog, shot 3 times. Okay, so this is where it addresses specific practical issues of moral importance such as war and capitalism. Applied ethics also tactical specific moral challenges that people face daily. Like I said, we face daily that we can be killed in our own homes. Such as whether they should lie or help a friend or coworker. So whether our moral focus is big picture questions, a practical framework, or applied to specific dilemmas, moral philosophy can provide the tools we need to examine and live an ethical life. I believe that ethical lives has gone out. Living an ethical life has gone out the window. I'm just gonna pay. Like, oh my God, it's if I'm going on and on and on and dragging it out, I don't mean to. My whole thing is to educate us in what we need to know. And I had mentioned that deontology is an ethical theory that uses rules to distinguish right from wrong. Deontology is often associated with philosopher Immanuel Kant. Kant believed that ethical actions follow universal moral laws such as don't die, don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat. Deontology is simple to apply. It just requires that people follow the rules and do their duty. The approach tends to fit well with other natural intuition about what is or isn't ethical. Unlike consequentialism, which judges actions by their results. Deontology doesn't require weighing the costs of benefits of the situation. This voids subjectivity and uncertainty because you only have to follow a set of rules. Despite its strength, rigidly following deontology can produce results that many people find unacceptable. For example, suppose you're a software engineer and learn that a nuclear missile is about to launch and that might start a war. You can hack the network and cancel the launch, but it's against your professional code of ethics to break into software system without permission, and it's a form of lying and cheating. Deontology advises not to violate this rule. However, in setting the missile launch, thousands of people will die. So, however, in Rittenhouse buying this rifle and setting out into a demonstration that he has no business in because he's not even in the state, he has chosen to go out with the motion that he is going to kill someone. You know what, guys? I'm just gonna go on and close out here. It's very well noted that this world is up in arms, and like I keep saying, you gotta come out, you gotta stand up for what you believe in. And right now I don't even know what's going on outside. I mean, they might be demonstrating here, and if they are, it would be a wonderful thing. But am I going to go and buy AR-15 and start, plucking people off? Shoot. Would that be all right? I wonder if I can go out there in the midst of all, and do that. Would it be okay to say that I only came out to support and knew that at some point, this rifle is just here on my shoulder, and I can use it in any way I feel like if the opportunity so happens to be in a case like that. And my friends, it is that time. This is Margarita, your host, your girl, your favorite from your favorite podcast, Bronze Girl Black Life, bringing you again some of the most important issues in the world right now, and do something about it. Let's do something about it. This needs to be acquitted. This guy needs to go to jail. This is just fuckery. Have a good night. Peace and blessings. Love yous all. See you next Saturday at 8. And keep popping in during the week. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a little, like announcements of what's coming up and all this stuff. And love yous. Peace and blessings. Bronze Girl Black Life. It's a world that we live in, and we're being hunted, and sad to say, they're getting away with it. Peace, y'all.